Hello again, everybody. Let's officially open the digital event today. My name is Trifon Dimov, and I'm Marketing and Communications Lead in Telelink Business Services. In the digital event today, we will present a brief financial overview for the first quarter of 2020, and there will be a short Q&A session followed by. Each of you have the chance to ask their questions in the pane on your right side of your screen. So if you have any questions, please use the application to ask, and our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ivan Zhitiyanov, will answer shortly. So I'm giving the speech to Mr. Ivan Zhitiyanov.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. For those of you who are actually close to Bulgaria. First of all, this is our first event of such kind. So we are a public company for quite a short time already. So if there are some things that are not the best way possible, not according to the standards, there will be a feedback form after the event that Trifon will distribute, and I will be extremely happy to receive your feedback and to get better next time. So as Trifon told you, I will try to actually summarize what we have done in Q1 of 2020, give an idea of the product mix, not the product, but the revenue and profit mix inside of this Q, compare this Q to the last couple of Qs and last couple of years, so and try to explain the logic behind all the numbers. So the first slide actually, and you'll get the slide, and we'll have a recording of this session, so you'll get a session after that. So I will not go into each and every number here, but I will point the major one. So for the first Q, we have achieved 18.8 million euro as a revenue, 3.4 million as a gross profit, 2.4 million euro in EBITDA, 1.8 in terms of net profitability. So if you look at we have included Q1 of 2019 and Q1 of 2018. So first of all, as you can see, when we compare to first Q of 2019, really the results for Q1 this year are like stellar. But if we compare it to 2018, it's much more normal, the growth that we are actually anticipating right now. So the revenue Q1 19, Q1 20, 84% better. Comparing to 2018, it's 17% better. Gross margin, we are increasing the gross margin 4.1%. Comparing to 2018, it's 2.2. EBITDA 5 times growth Q1 19 Q1 20, much more realistic when we compare it to 2018, which is 49% and 46% on the net profit. So our kind of a business is not our revenue structure is getting more and more recurring revenue. So we are getting more and more predictability in terms of not predictability, but predictability is one of the things. But we are getting more common, prediction of the size of the Q. But still, part of our business is related to a lot of services and a lot of goods delivery, and we account for some of those services when we deliver, and in some portions it's really it's slipping into another queue and so on and so forth. So to really analyze our business, it's up till now it's much better to look in a little bit more a wider perspective. So we have something that we call a trailing 12 months. So this is the period from 1st of April 2019 to 31st of March 2020. So if you look at we have here as well 2017 as a representative. So yeah, you can see that we have grown in terms of revenue year over year with 15%. Gross margin is 0.7% better on a profitability base, and we have a net profit plus 40% on net profit. So yeah, as you can see, it's getting a much better view of how the business is performing when you compare it on a little bit longer period, as with this current situation, 12 months. So going further, we're getting back to the queue, and the next few slides are trying to actually give an idea of what's the mix in terms of different, different point of view. So the first thing is about the region. So currently we are dividing 3 regions. Bulgaria is one region, and for actually all of the revenue that we create internationally in West Europe, US, and every other country, we are invoicing it from Bulgaria because of the taxation issues, because we are part of the European Union and we work for US and Europe. That's the second region or cluster of countries we call Midwest Balkans. So the Midwest Balkans are ex-Yugoslavia, and to name the countries, we have Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, and Slovenia right now at the current moment. And the last is Southwest Balkans, where we have Albania and North Macedonia at that point of time. So as you can see, we have 55% of our revenue in Q1 coming from Bulgaria and international clients, 41% coming from Serbia and the countries around it, let's put it like that, and 3% of the revenue are coming from Southwest Balkans. If you compare that to 2019, there is not much of a change. We are increasing a little bit the Bulgarian international business, and we are decreasing a little bit Midwest Balkans, and of course including our new business, which we didn't have in the beginning of 2019 in Macedonia and Albania. So this slide is actually showing the same thing as the Q on the right, but showing the consolidated data for 2018 and 2019 according to the accounting. So as you can see, there is a logic and a trend in what we have. So we are decreasing a little bit the Midwest Balkans, where we are making relatively lower margin type of a business for the telecom sector. We are increasing Bulgarian international business. We are increasing the Southwest Balkans, where our margins are a little bit bigger. So this is something that of course is desirable for us. The interim sales by sector. So we are dividing clients in 3 groups, let's put it like that. So the first is enterprise or corporate clients. Then we have the public sector and everything that's related to the public sector or owned by the public sector, public entity, the state. And last but not least, we have the telecom or service providers. So as you can see, we have a 46% coming from the telecom sector, 35% coming from the public sector, and another 19% coming from the corporate sector. If we compare that with the Q1 of 2019, yeah, it's pretty much the same. We have a little bit bigger public sector and a little bit lower service provider, 10% difference, but pretty much following same kind of a logic here. Then we have a sales by sector comparing from 2018 to 2019. So if you compare 2019 to 2020, the product mix is getting pretty much the same. So going further, as you may know, we are dividing our revenue in 7 technology groups. So on each technology group, where we are doing kind of a separate P&L, or at least we can provide a sales profit per technology group. So in this quarter, we have made 33% of our revenue from a service provider specific. This is 6.1 million, 22% from enterprise connectivity, 20% from hybrid cloud, 23% from modern workplace, and the other 3 or 4 technology groups are smaller, below around 1%. Let's put it like that. The next slide is actually comparing different years and the technology mix that we have in different years. So as you can see, and actually it's part of our strategy to diversify the countries that we are making money from, revenue from. to diversify, of course, the type of clients that we're working, and diversify technology groups. So if you compare the data from 2019 to 2020, you can see that we are diversifying more and more our revenue stream. If you compare the 2020, it's obvious that we are increasing modern workplace or office productivity there, and we are decreasing a little bit the enterprise connectivity. There is not much of a significant reason behind this growth and this shrink decrease. It just again just the Q. Just the Q type of a thing. Of course, we are expecting in the next quarter to actually see the same kind of a same pattern. So to grow the modern workplace, which is our, and the information security, which is kind of our door opener after this COVID crisis that we currently have. So just to show you what's the client, what's our client relationship with the clients that have accounted the revenue in the last quarter. So 83% of the clients that we have revenue in the last quarter was actually accounts that were generating money in each of the last 3 years. So from 2017 to 2019. 12% were actually, they were present in the last 3 years, but they were not present as a revenue in all of those 3 years. And we have around 5% or around 0.9 million euro, which is coming from new clients that we have acquired, one in the end of this year and beginning of this year and end of last year. This is the balance sheet trends, and I have here with me, I forgot to mention that in the beginning, but I have here with me with the room Nicoleta Stănăiu, she's our Chief Financial Officer. I have here Danka Klemska, she's the Deputy CFO, and I have Emil Longiv, who is financial analysis and really doing most of the reports that we are doing here. So they're here to help me with a little bit more financial things that we have on the table. My background is more or less in the engineering part. So nevertheless, the total assets are growing with 21%. The debt total assets ratio is keeping the same, around 12%, which we believe is quite low for us and for our industry. We are increasing a little bit the equity ratio with 1.8 million euros, you can see, and with 15 to 17%. And the current assets compared to current liabilities is growing a little bit with 1.11%, which for our business and for guys that are not acquainted and they don't know what our business is about, they tend kind of a look at that ratio as low, but for us is okay because in most of the cases we don't own the assets. The interim change in net debt. So the net debt is for the first quarter is the lowest comparing to the last 2 years. So we have a 1.7% net debt in only junior debts. So we have a revolving and overdraft credit lines, and we have a 1 million in financial leases. In the end of Q1, we had 2.4 million in cash and cash equivalents, and yeah, this comes to a 1.7 in net debt at the end of the quarter. So the next 2 slides are trying to show everything that I have explained according to the quarter, but showed in a trailing 12 months period. So we have here 2017, 18, 19, and the period between 1st of April 2019 and end of March 2020. So as you can see, this is by region. So we are following a pattern here. So obviously Bulgarian international clients again are growing. We get to introduce the Southwest Balkans, and we are decreasing a little bit the Midwest Balkans business. Yeah, so nothing strange here. Let's put it like that. And this is by sector. So enterprise, public, and telecom sector. Again, this is the diversification that we're looking for. 42% according to 43 in the last year. So as you can see, this change in Midwest Balkans that I'm talking about, that we are shrinking our revenue coming from a low profitable margin equipment resale, actually is decreasing not only the Midwest Balkans where we're making that kind of a revenue, but it's decreasing the telecom sector as well, and the public and enterprise sector are growing a little bit more in the last quarter and the last 12 months. So I think that this was pretty much what we have prepared in terms of slides, and yeah, and I will be happy to answer all the questions, of course, that I can and you have, and make it a little bit more like a Q&A session. That was the intention, to have 15 to 20 minute presentation and then leave enough time for questions here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zhitiyanov, for that amazing overview. So we have, with this, I would like to officially open the Q&A session. So again, I want to remind everybody who wants to ask questions, use the pane on your right, the chat section, so we can see your questions and answer every question you have. And the first question is, what is the business outlook for the rest of 2020?
We have introduced a business outlook in the beginning of January this year, for actually an outlook and guidance for the 2020, 21, and 22, so 3 years period. It's public, so anybody can see it. We currently at that point of time we don't have a new guidance, so we're aiming to achieve that guidance. We feel pretty comfortable up to that moment. The next logical question is the COVID. So in short-term perspective, yeah, and I see that somebody asked already that question because it's related to the outlook, of course, in that situation. So for the COVID in a short-term perspective, we don't see any kind of an issue for us because most of our revenue is coming from long-term contracts. So our contracts are, let's say that we have contracts, the minimum duration of the contract is 3 months and the maximum duration is 7 years. So yeah, we have a kind of a stability when it comes to revenue. We have a recurring revenue. We are reselling a lot of software as a services, a lot of equipment as a services, a lot of managed services. So yeah, in short term everything seems okay. In long term, we believe that especially in our region, not only, but our region, I tend to explain it as a pyramid. So, and you know, that pyramid is divided by two, and you have the how it's called, the peak of the pyramid. So, and it's of course a small, it's just the top of the pyramid where you have a digitally mature clients, and those are clients like a part of the government, utilities, software development companies, telecommunication companies, a part of the retail sector, banking, of course, but that's it. I mean, and everything, the rest of and that's true for the whole region. The rest of the business is, you know, without offending them, they're not digitally mature, and for them, the digital transformation is something that's nice to have. So what we are currently seeing in the COVID crisis is actually that this nice to have digital transformation is becoming a must have digital transformation. And actually in the last 3 months, we were seeing that, you know, they come up with some kind of a solution for, you know, for collaboration between people that are working remote. But that's not going to be the question for the future, because we don't know when everybody will come to the office, if they come at all. And we actually, we don't know when there will be another lockdown. And the companies will not only think about how to collaborate with each other, but how to make sure that the people, the employees, are productive. So in modern workplace, information security, we see a huge potential there, a huge potential that will drive actually a potential in all the other technology groups that we are working. On top of that, we see a huge potential for our managed services offering. Some of you know that part of our business that's coming from international clients, actually not part, but all of the business that's coming from international clients is based on the managed services. So we provide managed services for their networks, for their servers, for their storages, for their firewalls. And actually, in this COVID situation, all of them will look at the operational expenses. And actually, this is a huge opportunity for us, and we intend to grasp that opportunity. So again, to summarize it, I think that in short term we are okay, and I think that long-term perspective is even better than it was before 3 or 4 months.
Thank you very much for this answer, Mr. Zhitiyanov. We have another question, which I think we partially answered already in your previous answer, but anyways, I'm going to read it out loud again. Are you concerned about the COVID effect in short-term and long-term perspective? If you have something to add.
I think that I think that I answered that question.
Yeah,
I see the as well, so I just continued the last answer with that one. So yeah, maybe we can go to the next one.
Perfectly agree. So the next one is very interesting. What is your strategy for attracting more international customers in the next few years?
Pretty much, I partially explained that as well. We believe that first of all, we have this. We have identified in the last couple of years we were fighting with big guys in Europe, and we're relatively small for when you compare it on a little bit bigger scale. So, and we're fighting with guys. I will not name the name of the companies. Maybe it's not appropriate, but with the very big guys there. And we identified, and after that we actually execute on top of what we have, how we won, we execute after that with those clients. So we have identified the 5 very distinct differentiators of us as a company and the value that we're proposing. It's simplicity, flexibility, willingness to take the extra mile, attention to detail, and a broad view of the problem. So we're not, we're not looking just at the problem, but we're looking much wider in the business and the other technical area around it. And these 7 technology groups that we have are actually helping and supporting us in that journey. And but it was for us till now, till the crisis. When we go outside of Bulgaria and the region doing the managed services, most of the guys were saying, "Look, guys, I see that you have a very good differentiators, but this is not on top of my priorities right now." But currently, with the COVID crisis, we see that this is getting upper and upper in the priority list, actually, because all of those companies are looking how they can decrease the operational expenses, and on top of that, get a better quality for what they currently get from their current provider. And so we have the references. We have a huge references, actually, which is quite important for the market here, like US, to have somebody to tell that you can do the job. Because coming from Bulgaria and the region, most of the clients will tend to question our ability. So we have the reference, we have the differentiator, and currently we have the momentum that they're looking at decreasing the operational expenses, and we are able to decrease the operational expenses according to our perspective between 15 and 50%. So it's a huge thing. So part of our strategy is actually hiring sales guys in a little bit more like a success fee model. So we don't want to close a lot of money in Salesforce outside of the region, and go for those clients. And we believe that we have a chance. We're currently testing that hypothesis, and we get a very positive feedback. So yeah, we'll see what will happen, but we are feeling positive.
Thank you very much for this answer. I want to thank Mr. Charlie Gushi, and in advance I want to excuse myself if I am pronouncing the name incorrectly, from Kaikus Capital. So Mr. Gushi is asking, how do you retain your key employees in Bulgaria? And additional question from him is, do you expect this to be more difficult if Bulgaria enters Schengen?
Maybe first the second questions. I don't expect this to be more difficult when Bulgaria enters Schengen, because the Bulgarians can currently travel and work in every European country as they want. So they will not have a border, but the whole legal part will not change much. For if I want to go to work in Germany, I can do it right now. The Schengen, no, but to the main question, how we retain our key employees, we're currently actually first about a culture. And now, for example, I'll give you an example. A lot of companies in Bulgaria are doing body renting. So there are companies here, at least 2 or 3, that have thousands of employees and are generating a revenue which is comparable to ours, but they're doing only body renting. For us, that's not, you cannot retain an employee that you just get from the market and sell to somebody else like a hat. This is not something that we do, and we are, we're not doing that kind of a business. So before 2 years, we enter into a phase that we re-envision our mission statement. So culture, values, purpose, long-term, big, hairy, audacious goals. We're following a Jim Collins perspective here from some of you that know that. 3 years BHAGs, objective and key results, very transparent to all the company, incentives, all the operational stuff is actually incentivized on every quarter based on performance, which is actually decoupled from the financial results of the company. So we are trying to do that as well. A very transparent way of we have a career ladder, which we have a 6 or 7 steps ladders on that career ladder, and we have a transparency in terms of salaries of the people and so on and so forth. But it's about the culture, it's about how you do business, it's about the integrity of the management, and for the time being we are getting it quite good, to be honest. On top of that, we are working with a couple of universities and a couple of schools. We are just starting something like an academy in a couple of streams, few streams actually, on the different technology streams that we have. Plus, we have decided before a year or so to actually build and start building a resource hubs outside of Bulgaria. So we have a resource hub in Albania, in North Macedonia, and in Serbia as well. And part of our organizational structure, and actually one of the biggest changes that we have made before a year and a half, 2 years, is that we want to operate all the countries that we have as one company, which is, at least from my point of view, not present in the whole region. And we are trying to find all the silos there. And we are actually, for example, like if we are to hire an engineer, I don't care where we're going to hire these people. Actually, I prefer to hire it outside of Bulgaria to have a diversification of the markets for recruiters. So yeah, I think that I spent. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think the answer was pretty broad. Thank you very much, Mr. Zhitiyanov, for this answer. So the next question is from Mr. George Velikov, and he's writing, thank you for the Q1 overview, and once again, congratulations on the successful listing this week. Thank you very much for attending our event and for the interest. So the question continues. The first quarter results show clear momentum in the domestic market as well as the West Balkans region. How do you see the growth in the enterprise segment this year, and will you be pursuing growth there more aggressively in Mid-Western Balkans and Southwestern Balkans region? And additional question, can you give an overview of your outlook on the telecom networking business domestically and in the Balkans? So there are 2 questions in one. I'm going to read again the first one just to make it more clear.
I think that I get it.
Okay.
In front of me, I'm reading it as well. So yes, the enterprise market for us and the enterprise segment is something that we want to grow. Again, we want to differentiate between telecom, public and enterprise, with no preference on any of those. When you have a different, it's good to have a different diversification. So the enterprise segment, we want to grow in terms of enterprise. Everything that we do outside of Bulgaria for international clients, US, Germany, UK, Asia, it's actually enterprise segment. So we want to grow there. Really, we are pursuing that growth really like a priority for us. When we look at the Midwest Balkans and Southwest Balkans, they're different from our perspective. In Southwest Balkans, the market there is underdeveloped, so they're very emerging markets. They're maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years behind Bulgaria's development, and still Bulgaria has to do catching up with the rest of the world. So there we have a little bit more wider portfolio from what we do. There we're working with the government as well. There we're working with the enterprise sector, with the telecoms as well. So there we want to copy everything that we have in Bulgaria in countries like Albania and North Macedonia, of course, on a different scale. We have already established the relationship with the partners like vendors like Cisco, Dell EMC, Microsoft in that respective, which is a big milestone. We're leveraging what we have built. So yeah, and we have a direct sales there. So we already have in North Macedonia, although they're quite new, we have three sales guys in North Macedonia, and we have two sales guys in Albania. So definitely we'll pursue enterprise and government and telecom sector in those two countries. On the Midwest Balkans or Serbia and ex-Yugoslavia countries, they're a little bit more developed markets. So we need to be much more innovative there if we want to penetrate the market, and actually that's what we do. We are currently in the verge that we want to change, not maybe the word change is not the exact word, but to transform part of what we have and have more productized approach, which is something that's not common for our region and for system integrators. So we want to become a product company in the long run, and being a product company actually is about introducing more condensed, more high volume, low variety product. And this is the way we want to go in Midwest Balkan with information security and modern workplace, where we have a lot of differentiators. Like information security, we have a ASOC, one of the few on the Balkans Peninsula. So we have and actually selling information security is hard. So we have to know how to do it and how to productize. With the modern workplace, it's the same story. So we want to enter there. We have a lot of experience. We are part of doing a managed services business is about doing software as a service. We have a CSP in the whole region, Microsoft cloud solution provider. We are a direct cloud solution provider there. So we have a web shop and everything else. So, but yeah, to simplify the question and leave time for the other question, yes, the enterprise segment is something that we are pursuing. We have a different strategy for international client, Midwest Balkans and Southwest Balkans, which are according to the state of the market and our position on those markets. Second question is, can you give an overview of your outlook on the telecom network business domestically in the Balkans? I'll try to be short here because we can talk a lot about that. But how we see the business is that the telecoms there's currently a aggregation or consolidation of the telecom business on the Balkans. This is what we see. So we see United Group buying Vivacom, buying a company in Greece, looking in some other countries around the region as well. So we have a Telecom Austria group, which is another consolidated telecom group, United Group, which is another consolidated group. And I believe that especially with the United Group, we will see right up till now, it was more or less in the whole region a price war. So they were fighting for the customer, and average revenue per user were insignificant. I mean, very small amount of money. But I think that currently the things will change. United Group come with a lot of content and so on and so forth. So, and I believe that all of them will be pushed toward 5G. All of them will be pushed toward customer experience management. All of them will be pushed toward CPE management and self-service kind of a solution to their customers, and this will place us in an extremely good position. And actually another point of view is because the 5G is here, the markets are not ready for 5G, but nevertheless telecom will start investing in 5G. They will start building the foundation for 5G, and in 2-3 years they will start enrolling the 5G massively. But I think that in the next 3 years they will invest a lot in the foundation, in the underlying technology beneath that, and we're seeing it. Like, yeah, I cannot speak about that because there is an NDA, but you know, they're currently in that process right now, so we see it quite vivid right now, and something changed in the telecom with the 5G, and will change in the telecom with the 5G, and this is the focus on business clients. I don't know how familiar you are with the region, but most of the telecom in the region are generating their biggest revenue for customers, so for end clients, not businesses, so B2C. And with the 5G, I believe that in the beginning, the 5G will be about B2B. So all of those telecoms will try to think about, okay, what we need to do for the business. And actually, the 5G in the beginning will be for the business, because in our region, there will not be a lot of virtual reality or augmented reality or I don't know, self-driving cars in the next 3 or 4 years. So for the consumer base, there is no need for a 5G right now, if you ask me. So they will need to look at the business, and the business needs 5G right now. So yeah, I see that the telecom market will develop in the near future, and I see that companies like us that understand the telecom part and the enterprise, the IT part, it will be a very good match for them. And we do B2B, so we know how to do business with those clients of the telecoms. Thanks. I hope that I answered the question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zhitiyanov. So if there are additional questions, feel free to ask them in the pane again, I'm reminding. So the next question we have from the audience is, are you planning a share buyback and why?
Yes, we are planning a share buyback. We have asked the general shareholder, how it's called, shareholder assembly in English. Yeah, the shareholders. We have asked the shareholders.
GMS, general meeting shareholders.
General meetings of shareholders. So we have a general meeting of shareholders in the end of June, where one of the points that we want to actually vote is about they to allow the management to buy up to 3% easier out of the shares that are on the market. Of course, we will utilize the shares that we will buy to actually, currently we're working on profit share plans for our employees, and our intention is actually to have as much as possible shares among the employees. I mean, even if you have a 1 share, you're a shareholder, so we want to tie the performance with delivering shares. And another, of course, plan that we're working out, it's not related to shares that much, but we want to have a share option plan for the management as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm explaining it a lot of times, but being a public company, one of the biggest positives for me as being a public company is actually the ability to share profit with all all of your, or at least the key of your employees in a regulated, transparent, controlled market. You know, and very, you know, a market that has a liquidity, if you want, for the sizes that we're predicting. There will be a liquidity on the Bulgarian Stock Exchange. So yeah, we want to go there. We are still developing it because we need again to connect all the dots here, the profit sharing plan with current incentive, current bonus, current payment scheme, current remuneration planning, and so on and so forth. So it's taking a little bit more time, but in a couple of months time frame we'll have that ready.
Thank you very much for that broad answer. So we have another question, and I think it's really interesting. What are your plans regarding your dividend policy?
Look, we have we believe that you know, being in Bulgaria and listing the stock exchange, for us it's quite important to have a very transparent dividend policy and to have a return on the investment with the dividends. So that's why we have agreed that the shareholders and me partially from the management part, we have agreed that we will give at least 50% of our net profit for dividends. So this is our intention, to spread those 50% as dividend.
Thank you very much for that answer. For now, we don't have additional questions. So I propose to wait additional 2-3 minutes if somebody has some questions. So feel free to ask. Let's give 2 minutes. time window.
Sure, yeah. It's been quite for us this week.
I'm sorry, Ivan. Meanwhile, I'd like to remind everybody who wants to learn more about our company, feel free to visit our website, tbs.tech, and our Facebook or LinkedIn pages, where you can learn more about our company, about about trade, and everything about our business and offerings. We try to update all of our digital channels of communication. And if you have some additional questions which you don't have the chance or you don't remember to ask now, feel free to use our communicational channels in our websites to ask. We will make everything possible to answer shortly.
Yeah, while waiting, I don't know how the other companies, public companies that you have in your portfolio are acting, and I don't know how the other public companies in the region are acting, to be honest, because I've always been focused on the operational engineering people side of the business, and currently this listing in public part is something new. But our intention, of course, is to be transparent as much as possible to all of our investors, shareholders, the publicity as a whole. And so yeah, this is what you should expect from us now and in the future. Of course, we will try to not try, but we will follow the law. And we will protect our confidentiality of our clients, of course, in the whole process. But other than that, we want to be really transparent and yeah, open to any kind of questions and to answer them in an appropriate way.
I fully agree with you, Ivan. We don't have additional questions for now, so I would like to inform all of the attendees that they will receive a follow-up email shortly after the digital event with the recording of this session, the presentation Mr. Zhitiyanov presented earlier, and short feedback form. We are looking forward to see your opinion, and if we have area of improvement, feel free to share with us. So everything will be packed in a follow-up email. So stay tuned. With that, I would like to thank everybody for the attendance and for the nice and interesting questions. From me and my team, I would like to wish you have a nice evening. And I'm giving the word to Ivan again to say goodbye.
Thanks everybody. Goodbye. Stay safe. Thanks.
Bye. Stay safe.
Bye.